November 22, 1963, Dallas, Texas. It was supposed to be a political victory lap for President John F. Kennedy. The sun was shining, the crowds were cheering, and the convertible top of the presidential limousine was down. No one knew that in a matter of seconds, the history of the world was about to change forever. At 12:30 p.m., the motorcade turned onto Elm Street in Dealey Plaza. Nellie Connolly, the wife of the Texas governor sitting in front of the president, turned to Kennedy and said, "Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you." He smiled and nodded. Those were likely the last words he ever heard. Moments later, a sharp crack echoed through the plaza. Most people thought it was a firecracker or a car backfiring. But then there was a second shot and a third. The most famous home movie in history, the Zapruder film, captured exactly what happened next. In just 6 seconds, the President of the United States was struck down in front of his wife, Jackie Kennedy. Panic erupted. The Secret Service agent Clint Hill jumped onto the back of the moving car in a desperate attempt to shield them, but it was too late. The limousine sped off toward Parkland Memorial Hospital at 80 miles per hour, but the man who held the most powerful office on Earth was already gone. An hour later, the news broke. The legendary anchor Walter Cronkite took off his glasses, looked at the clock, and with a trembling voice told the nation, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. America stopped. People cried in the streets. Schools sent children home. It was the first time an entire country shared a collective trauma in real time. But the nightmare wasn't over. The police quickly arrested a man named Lee Harvey Oswald. He was a former Marine who had defected to the Soviet Union. He worked at the Texas School Book Depository, the building overlooking Elm Street. Police found a rifle and 3 shell casings on the 6th floor. It seemed like an open and shut case. However, 2 days later, something impossible happened. As the police were transferring Oswald to a safer jail, surrounded by reporters and live television cameras, a nightclub owner named Jack Ruby stepped out of the crowd. He pulled out a revolver and shot Oswald in the stomach at point-blank range. The main suspect was silenced forever before he could even stand trial. This is where the mystery begins. The official government report, the Warren Commission, stated that Oswald acted alone. They claimed a single bullet, the so-called magic bullet, passed through Kennedy's neck, changed direction, went through the governor's chest, wrist, and thigh, and remained almost perfectly intact. Millions of people didn't buy it. Witnesses claimed they heard shots coming from a different direction, the famous grassy knoll. Was there a second shooter? Was it the Mafia, the CIA, or the Soviets? 60 years later, thousands of documents are still classified. The assassination of JFK remains the biggest what-if in American history. It was the day the 1950s innocents died, and the modern era of conspiracy and distrust began. We may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain. On that sunny day in Dallas, the world changed in the blink of an eye.